The Galactic Council's emergency session had been called with unprecedented urgency. Ambassador Zeftar of the Valerian Empire nervously adjusted his ceremonial robes as he entered the vast chamber, its crystalline walls reflecting the anxiety, etched on dozens of alien faces. The topic of today's assembly was simple yet terrifying: humanity's recent application for membership in the Galactic Federation. "Distinguished colleagues," began High Chancellor Mordak, her 6 eyes scanning the assembled representatives, "we have completed our standard cultural analysis of species designation Homo sapiens from the third planet of System Sol 3. The results are unprecedented." Dr. Kyleth, the Council's chief xenoanthropologist, stepped forward with visible trepidation. His species, the Korthani, were known for their analytical nature and emotional stability, yet his hands trembled as he accessed the holographic display. "We began our study as we do with all potential member species," Kyleth explained, his voice wavering. "We examined their art, literature, philosophy, and technological development. Everything seemed remarkably promising. Their scientific achievements, their capacity for cooperation, their philosophical depth, all indicated a species ready for galactic citizenship." Murmurs of agreement rippled through the chamber. The preliminary reports had indeed been favorable. "However," Kyleth continued, "standard protocol required us to examine their historical records, specifically their approach to conflict resolution and territorial disputes." He paused, his scaled hands hovering over the control interface. "What we discovered has fundamentally altered our understanding of what sentient beings are capable." The holographic display activated, showing a peaceful blue-green planet rotating slowly in space. "Humans have been engaging in organized warfare for approximately 5,000 of their years. But it's not the duration that concerns us, it's the evolution of their methods." The display shifted to show ancient battlefields, armies clashing with primitive weapons. Initially, their conflicts were small-scale, involving hundreds or perhaps thousands of individuals. Standard territorial disputes as we've seen in dozens of other species. But then, Kyleth's voice dropped to barely above a whisper, "they began to innovate." The images changed rapidly: siege engines, gunpowder weapons, industrial warfare. With each technological leap, the scale of destruction grew exponentially. Ambassador Threll of the pacifist Eridani Coalition rose from her seat. "Surely you're not suggesting that technological warfare is unique to humans. The Krillians had gunpowder weapons. The Zenthani developed early projectile systems. The Krillians used gunpowder for precisely 47 years before their philosophers convinced them it was too destructive," Kyleth interrupted. "The Zenthani abandoned projectile weapons after a single battle resulted in 300 casualties, which their society deemed an unacceptable loss of life." The holographic display now showed the mechanized slaughter of World War I. Humans witnessed battles where 50,000 of their kind died in a single day. Kyleth continued, his voice growing hollow. "Their response was not to abandon such weapons, but to make them more efficient." A collective gasp echoed through the chamber as the display shifted to World War II's massive tank battles and aerial bombardments. In what they call their Second World War, humans killed 65 million of their own species in just 6 years. The scope is beyond anything we've encountered in galactic history, but even that pales in comparison to their ultimate achievement. The display showed grainy footage of mushroom clouds rising over Japanese cities. "They split the atom itself and turned it into a weapon," Kyleth announced. "Then, instead of being horrified by their creation, they built thousands more. For decades, they maintained the capacity to exterminate every living thing on their planet, multiple times over." The chamber fell into stunned silence. Many representatives had covered their eyes or turned away from the display. "But surely," ventured Ambassador Gextal of the Hive Collective, "they eventually came to their senses, abandoned such madness." Kyleth shook his head slowly. "Even now, as they reach for the stars, they maintain enough nuclear weapons to sterilize their world. But that's not what terrifies me most." He manipulated the display controls again, showing modern human military technology. They've continued to innovate. Weapons that kill with invisible beams of energy. automated systems that can select and eliminate targets without human intervention, biological weapons designed to target specific genetic markers, and according to their own military publications, they're already theorizing about warfare in space itself. High Chancellor Mordak stood slowly, her ancient form radiating authority and fear in equal measure. Dr. Kyleth, in your professional opinion, what does this mean for galactic security should humanity join our Federation? The xenoanthropologist's response sent chills through the assembly. Honored Chancellor, in 5,000 years of warfare, humans have never truly stopped fighting. They've had peace, yes, but only long enough to develop new ways to wage war. They don't see conflict as an aberration to be avoided. They see it as an inevitability to be prepared for. He gestured to the display, now showing human military academies and war colleges. They study warfare like we study agriculture. They teach it to their young as we teach mathematics. They've created an entire science dedicated to the efficient killing of their enemies. Ambassador Zeftar found his voice at last. But they must have philosophers, peace movements. Surely not all humans embrace this madness. They do, Kyleth confirmed. And those very peace movements have made them better at warfare. Their philosophers debate the ethics of war, creating rules and limitations that force them to develop more precise, more targeted, more devastating weapons. Even their attempts at peace have made them more dangerous. The implications hung heavy in the chamber's atmosphere. There's something else, Kyleth added quietly. In all our analysis, we found something unprecedented. Humans don't just wage war against other humans. They wage war against their environment, their climate, their diseases, even abstract concepts like poverty and ignorance. They approach every challenge as if it were an enemy to be defeated through superior strategy and overwhelming force. High Chancellor Mordak raised one of her primary appendages for silence. The question before us is clear. Do we allow humanity into our peaceful federation, knowing that they are the most effective killers in known galactic history? Or do we reject them and risk making them view us as obstacles to be overcome? The vote, when it came, was unanimous. Within a standard galactic cycle, every member world had doubled their defense budgets. The humans were coming to the stars and the galaxy would never be the same.